And we're live.
Welcome back to episode 1 of Professional Idiocy. I'm this is Barat, your host, James.
Well, without the glitches, hello there.
Navi, our special guest for this episode.
Hey.
All right, going right into a fact of the day. Most Korean people don't have armpit odor.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's interesting and a wonderful tidbit of evolution.
Avi, explain
Yeah.
what evolution is really quickly.
Oh God, AP Bio coming
For the viewers still in elementary school, explain to them what evolution is.
Right, because elementary schoolers are going to be listening to this. Okay.
Of course they are.
So evolution is this, millions of year process that causes adaptation in our bodies to certain, environmental conditions, food, words that I can say, yes. If we have a lack of fish, we will eventually evolve so that we don't need to eat fish anymore. It becomes kind of useless to us. And that's through mutation. And mutations are just those little oddities that happen in our genes that eventually become very prominent in the population and cause this evolution. For example, blonde people. That's a mutation. One person was blonde once, and it was a lot of people found it interesting. So the gene kept being passed on by we all know what. And I do not.
When you wish really, really hard, you get more blonde people. That's obviously the solution, really, right here.
All right, then.
No, it's more sexual selection is what it's called in science terms.
Or we wish upon a star, because that's where babies come from. Now,
like that one.
Let's explain the. Why do these people have this mutation, the ability to not have odor through that?
It was probably
James. I'm not a scientist, but apparently, the more odor they emitted, the more predators they attracted.
Oh,
I think
that's kind of interesting.
Right, that's the environmental one that I was talking about. Yeah. And then I betcha sexual selection applies too. I mean, if your partner emits less odor, I think that's going to make them more appealing in a way.
Thank God for deodorant then, am I right, boys? All right.
Oh my God. Well, okay. Deodorant is only used by, some people.
All right.
And then there are other people who need to use it.
All right. Because we are high school seniors, we've all had plenty of experience with, kids in schools and stuff. And I would like to part a little bit of knowledge for anyone who is of middle school going into high school, or any high schoolers or middle schoolers out there. Just gonna wear deodorant. Jesus Christ on a toast. Wear it.
Not too much though.
Not too much. Tank out your Axe body spray. Throw that out the door. Every boy will be wearing Axe body spray. Get rid of it.
Disgusting.
Just get serious deodorant.
Pick up some Old Spice.
Yeah, get something that we can justify you wearing, and then wear it, because we don't need this whole school smelling like a boys' locker room. We know,
oh my God.
The three of us can speak to that, because we've all been in a high school, and it's so bad.
There are some moments where you're sitting in a classroom and you're like, someone smells, and it's awful.
I remember.
You really just wish they would practice proper hygiene.
Oh my God, there's definitely one person I can name off, but I won't.
We won't, for the sake of stuff.
Privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one time, me and my friend were going to English class, and we have no idea how the English teacher survived. Because we walked in, and it smelled like death. We had some other girl pulled out her perfume and completely perfumed the room, and it still wasn't strong enough. So we had to sit through an entire class of what smells like a boy who's just took an hour-long run.
Oh
It was
God.
really bad.
I
don't know
okay,
how.
can I throw this out there really quick?
Of
Yeah, go
course.
ahead.
I hate the way perfume smells.
Some types of perfume smell like
I
bad,
But
bad.
I cannot stand most perfumes. It's just too strong of a scent for me. I'm just like, let's not. Let's just not. Um and also fun little tidbit, I haven't worn any form of deodorant like these Korean people for probably 6 years or
wait, you don't
something.
wear deodorant?
No, I don't.
Wow. And I've
Wow.
sat next to
Actually,
you. That's also.
wow. That's impressive.
Oh, wow. If I forget it for one day,
Wow.
everyone knows.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. It is wholeheartedly obvious.
Are you
Well,
trying to
I
say
mean,
something to
also
me?
that's partly because
Huh? You
I
saying I
put
stink?
like
You trying to say something, Barat?
I am, yeah. I am. I'm saying you stink on some days.
on
You know
Sundays.
what? So do
Oh my
you.
God.
I know. I forgot deodorant sometimes.
We've all just had that day where like, fuck it, someone else will suffer this.
But in like Corona, I think like less. Okay, on average, I think less people have deodorant in Corona because everybody's going to be too far away to smell you.
That's
If it
fair.
if it's
Thankfully,
like if
masks
it's really bad, they'll smell you.
masks exist.
Oh yeah,
Thank God. You know what?
How much
Also,
do
ever.
you want to bet there are people that just like have not bothered with like dental hygiene because no one's going to see their teeth under the mask?
if you're
You
one of those
best believe
people
I
out
have
there,
not
start.
flossed. I have not flossed in so long.
All right,
Oh my
I can
God.
relate to the not flossing bit, but at least brush. You know
At
what?
least brush your teeth.
Take 2 minutes out of your day. Just get it done.
I just do it
Children
while
who are
showering.
watching, brush your damn teeth.
Yeah, start. You know what? Start small. If you don't floss, at least brush.
Yeah.
You got to build up to it. That's not good.
Wow. Oh gosh, no. I mean, I've had cavities before, but like I'm that weirdo kid that's like, yo, the dentist kind of cool though.
The what?
Are you one of those people who
I
really
like the
like the
dentist.
dentist?
I
The
like the
only
dentist.
the only thing I don't like about the dentist is the fact that like you have to sit there for like an hour, like half hour to an hour, while they're just going at it in your mouth.
Yeah, and the worst part is when they're trying
I
to have a
find it
conversation with you, and
fun.
you're like, I know this. Just like
He asks me, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?
it's like trying to talk with like marshmallows in your mouth.
Oh my gosh. No, okay. So like the lamps that they put above your head in like the dentist
Yeah.
office?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kid that like through my glasses, I'm looking up at that to see the reflection of what they're doing in my mouth because I'm just fascinated by all these little gizmos that they put in your mouth.
What?
You know what I'm thankful.
Dude, I'm almost 100% sure those lights are the reason I have glasses.
What?
Brock got defective sunglasses. No, the dentist I go to, thank God, they have like this TV set up in the room, and you can choose what movie you want to watch. And
What?
I just literally watch his
Oh,
movies.
like the iPads that they put on the lights?
I don't know. All I remember is the fact that there's a TV screen. You can choose what movie you want to watch, and then just watch it while they're doing it, like doing their
Oh, that's
stuff.
lucky. That's lucky.
I've watched
I've been to a
Inception and
dentist.
Dark Knight.
I've been to a dentist like that, not for myself being worked on as a dentist. So for the kiddos out there who don't know me, I am a theater nerd,
Oh
like
my God,
big
are you
time.
really?
You
Oh
know
man.
what? I've
Whoa,
been
I
doing
didn't know that.
theater for like 7 years, and I've been in over 14 shows. I think I can safely call myself a theater kid.
You know what, Avi? That is truly impressive.
Yeah,
Thanks.
takes a lot.
Still top of the class. Anyway, 2015, I was in Annie, and we had a cast party after opening night. It was just like a celebration, like, yo, we did it. This was great. And now we get to do more. It was pretty awesome. And so we got a sponsor for the show. It was some dentistry in West Hartford. And they actually let us use their dentistry for this party. And they got us an ice cream sundae buffet. Like, we could make your own ice cream sundae buffets. I love those.
Hold on. It's a dentist place for ice cream. Hold on. Does no one see the apparent problem in the irony?
This
I
is
will.
true.
I am no. I'm going to refute that because both of my neighbors are dentists, and
They give out candy.
they are Halloween fanatics. They love Halloween. It's like their favorite holiday.
It's like the bit. I can't remember like the bit name, but it's like the dentist who gives out sweets only for the kids to come back 3 weeks later with cavities.
No. So every Halloween they give out king size candy bars to the people who come to their house.
Guess who's coming over this year?
Along with that, they give you a toothbrush. And
bro, I'm coming to your house.
Basically what they say is you can have as much candy as you want on Halloween, but you have to make sure that you brush it all out so you don't get the cavities.
All right, kids, that's a lesson for life.
Really, really well.
You can put anything you want into your mouth as long as you just brush afterward.
No.
Eat as much soda. You drink as much soda as you want, kids. Eat all the candy. I am not liable for this, as I legally will say this is a joke.
Oh my god.
For legal reasons.
I wish I remembered the name of the dentistry. I don't. It's
probably
been a
safer
while.
that we don't give the name of it.
That's true.
The last thing we need is copyright.
But so we went there. We got our ice cream, which was amazing, and they had like some of their exam, quote unquote, rooms open to us to just chill in. And in those rooms, they had TVs with Xboxes and PlayStations. And we got to go in there and use these Xboxes and PlayStations. And they were explaining to us that, like, especially for their orthodontic patients, which is braces for those who don't know, like, because they have to sit there and let them adjust everything, every month, they want to make it fun for the kids. So they let them sit there sort of kind of upright, not entirely, like the TVs were attached to the ceiling, but in a corner, so it was like angled correctly. Anyway, so they let the kids use these things and play video games that they have on them. So we got to play video games while we were there. So I was just reminded of that when you said that your dentistry had TVs that you could watch stuff on. Maybe it was the same dentistry.
Here's your 5 minutes of fun right before we, drill into your mouth. Like, that's what he just reminded me of.
No, while they're doing it, you get to play.
You know what this kind of reminds
me? I'm sorry, what?
Like, it sounds like... Wait, hold on. You get to play Xbox while they're working on you? Or, like, right before?
Yeah, especially for, like, orthodontic patients. Hi, I have braces. You can't see my face. I just got them recently. But a lot of, like, pediatric dentistries will do something to make your every single month visit, like, something that you actually don't mind going to.
I'm just picturing that one kid who gets really mad at Call of Duty, loses a match, and then just bites down on the guy's hand while they're working on you.
I bet you they don't have multiplayer games. I bet you it's like single-player story mode games.
Imagine dying. It's Dark Souls level.
I was like 9 or 10 when we were there.
It's just some like 12-year-old kid playing Dark Souls, dies to a boss, chomps down in the dentist's hand.
I bet you. I bet you if you use it, they use like one of those things that like keeps your mouth open though.
Probably.
Another dentist story. I really like the dentist. I don't know why. I don't even want to be a dentist.
It's because I have Little Shop of Horrors as my icon right now. That must be it.
No, it's not. Right. So in my last like actual dentist visit, not an orthodontic dentist visit, I got to be a guinea pig and try out something that they'd never used before because I go to a pediatric dentistry. I love pediatric dentistries. Anyway, and they wanted something for the kids, and I'm an older patient. They're like, hey, do you mind if we like test this new thing on you? And like I said before, I love the dentist machines for some reason. I don't know why. They just fascinate me. So I was like, yeah, totally, go ahead.
Hold on, pause.
Try out this new thing for us that we want to try on the younger patients. It's never been tested before. And I was like, yes, because I like dentist machinery for some reason. And it was really, really interesting. It was like, it wasn't like the stupid, really disgusting hard plastic ones that they sometimes put in your mouth, like the X-rays. God, I don't like X-rays. I'll sit through them, but like, I don't like the X-ray plastic that you have to bite down on because it like scratches at your gums. It was more like a flexible sort of like the scuba, the ends of like the scuba nozzles that you can like buy. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, like that. It was like that, and it actually had a an air pump on it so that you weren't like, getting saliva buildup or like any of the water that they squirted in you. And it was really interesting and really cool. And it actually felt like you could like rest your tongue on it and it wouldn't feel awkward and like you were being your tongue was being shoved into the back of your throat. Anyway, that was cool. And that's another dentist story. I need to stop with dentist stories.
No, it's fine. It's entertaining. Our whole episode will be dedicated just to dentists. For
This
all the
episode
dentists
is
out
now
here.
titled Dentists and Avi.
No, I like the title Dentistry Dilemma.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
All right. Oh, I remember
Well, that's the title of the episode.
I think with the last time I had a checkup, they were doing X-rays, but it was this really cool thing because I don't think I had to bite down on it. I did have to bite down on it, but so the place I used to go to before this, you had to like go into this separate room to do the X-rays, and I just remember this lady was like, "All right, hold still, James," and then just slammed like this big oval shaped device right onto my mouth. Yeah, like to where the thing I was biting on was doing, and then she hits this button. I'm like, right when it finishes, I'm like, isn't that like super dangerous? Because radiation. This nurse started laughing at me. She's like, "You're worried about radiation?" I'm like, a little bit. It's X-rays. If you're too exposed, like, I studied biology. I know what I'm talking about here. It might not sound like it, but I know what I'm talking about. She's like, I've never had a patient say they were ever worried about the radiation of what's going on with their teeth. I'm like, welcome to me. My anxiety will make sure I carry the rest. And then this poor nurse just looked at me like I was the weirdest 17-year-old who ever walked in. Take that back. I am. I probably was.
You probably were.
Let's stop worrying about how much laws we're breaking and confessing to on recordings.
Fair.
So anyways, this one time I completely robbed this bank.
For legal reasons.
For legal reasons, that's a joke. No, seriously, for legal reasons, that's a joke. Alright, anyways. Barat, cool. What is next? What do we have to talk about? What's our interesting article for today? Because that was just a fun fact that lasted us 20 minutes.
That is true.
I'm sorry.
We have 40 more minutes left of stuff to talk about.
Oh,
so
God.
I'm sorry. I really do talk too much.
No, it's fine, because this is the fun part where Barat completely skimped out on looking up anything beforehand. So
you're calling Barat out right now, I see.
Calling me out?
You can edit this part out for all I care.
No, I'm leaving it in. Just
for me?
Just so our friend dynamic still works. I don't know.
Oh, I see. We need to lie to the audience. I mean, we need to make sure they're well engaged.
You can't see it, but I'm currently face palming.
Oh, you know what?
We know you well enough.
All right, listen. We've been friends for like 6 years now. Okay, we know each other well enough.
It's been 6 years?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's been. Like, we had a count the other day.
That's wacky.
I hope you realize we know enough about each other to have like a fun Among Us game, but we don't know enough about each other to not have a fun Among Us game. Like there's
we've played Among Us
to how much you know about the other person. Like I was watching this video where two best friends were on opposite sides of Among Us, And then one of the people got accused of something, and the other guy says, "Oh, it's not him, it's not him." Immediately, he knew it was him, like without saying anything.
Okay, we were playing yesterday, and a close friend of ours, well, maybe not close friend, but a good friend of ours, and a couple other of us were playing together, and he was barely
Oh
playing at
my
all.
god.
And in the chat, he was literally calling out our other friend. We will not leave his name in here, but if he's listening to this, you know exactly who you are because you almost threw your laptop out of your room.
Oh
But
my
our
gosh.
friend was perfectly calling it on random guesses that he was the imposter, got it right, and then
Oh my
voted
god,
him
he
out
called.
within the
4 out of 5
first
times.
round.
Yeah, he called him 4 times.
4 out of 5
4 out of
times.
5.
What a success rate, alright? Who
I
could
know,
argue with
right?
Listen.
stats like
No,
that?
no, no. Listen,
That's
listen. This
80%.
was so funny to me because I was watching the stream of this imposter in question, and because I couldn't join yet because I wasn't done with my homework, and I was watching the stream, like multitasking, and I could see whether or not they were crewmate or imposter. And whenever the other friend uh, pressed the button um, and said it's red because he was red, um, I was
He
just
was right.
I had to contain my laughter because he hadn't even killed anyone yet.
Oh my god.
Oh my god,
That was
it's so
so much.
great.
That was so funny watching our friend freak out over that.
Throwing a fit, and you couldn't see it, but I could
Oh,
because he was
he
screaming.
got so
Once,
mad.
no, once he was dead in the chat, he was just like completely, like completely
Going
dissing.
off.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. It was so funny. Non PG words. It was a hissy fit.
Alright,
But
Brat.
it was hilarious. Good content. Good content.
Alright, Brat. Have
All
you
right.
found us an article?
So, I didn't find an article. I just wanted to talk about like our experiences over quarantine because that's been like a major thing this year, and we haven't really
Oh
talked about it.
boy. We're gonna go right into that one. Let's
Are
do
you
every.
sure you're ready for that?
Let's talk about the
Hey,
pros
as
and
as
cons.
as long as he keeps it PG, I don't really care.
Are you sure this is what our audience wants to hear about how much I watch
Well,
TV?
That cannot be all that you've done, James.
that definitely cannot be all you did.
Alright, fine. It was not all I have done. It was a
You
good
also played some
chunk.
D&D.
Yeah, alright, hold on. We'll do a quick plug right here. I play a lot of Anudis. Not Anudis. Oops! Name of the game! I play a lot of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Well, technically a hybrid of a couple different
Systems.
TTRPGs
We get
thrown
it.
into
You're a
it.
nerd.
It's a lot of fun. Like, I was working on it today, and it's been a lot of cool fun. Pathfinder
James
1.
doesn't have a life outside of it,
I
and the
do
amount
have a
of
He
life.
content
doesn't. He
the
doesn't.
amount of content James puts out for this is insane. As one of the
It's
players,
insane.
I am very concerned for the amount of time that James spends on this content. I am
Okay,
totally
but
not throwing daggers at you right now.
I be completely honest. You're having too much fun
Here's my
In what,
problem
the D&D game?
in his campaigns. Yeah.
in my campaigns
Yes,
are
I
really
am
fun.
having a lot of fun.
Here's my problem with the amount of work that I do for this game is the fact that when I publish stuff, no one tells me if they wanted it or not. So I'm like, every time I'm working on something, I have to like go, do people
Do
actually
people
use
want
this?
this?
Because I was working on, so today, every now and then, I start thinking about stuff that may be problems later down the road. And I was like, what if someone wanted to play a vampire demon? Can you make that in the current system? Spoiler alerts for Pathfinder 2. Without homebrew, no, you cannot. As both Dampire and Tiefling are universal heritages. Stuff I will not explain, mechanics I will not explain. So I literally wrote up this document just today of a completely new, like, vampire, quote unquote, race. It's still the Dampire, but what I'll do is, and I'm sure Avi can detest how often I can do this. I'll just open a book, like any Pathfinder book, and go, all right, I know what I'm working on now, and then just start going right to town on it, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Well, as
Um,
I'm a bystander, and I'm still
hold on,
concerned
hold on.
about your well-being.
I'm gonna pull up real quick.
No, we're good.
Nah, we're good, we're good. Back to quarantine experiences.
This is what I've
That
been
was
doing in
quarantine.
quarantine. Hold on, I'm not
Okay, go
done.
ahead,
This is just the
go ahead, Avi.
ancestry list.
No, James, we're good, we're good, we're
You're
good,
welcome.
we're good, we're good.
Who is on this document right now? Oh, our close friend who's working on a character. Anyways,
All right, Avi, you go ahead now. You talk about your quarantine thing.
Oh, the ancestry one. That's me. Anyway, yeah, that's me.
oh, cool.
I use it. I do anyway.
Hey,
Quarantine.
someone uses my
Do
stuff.
we want the surface level stuff or the not so surface level stuff?
Let's start with
Because
Just,
surface level and
just
we'll build
talk,
into it. Talk, Avi. That's the goal.
just entertain.
entertain.
Be
Oh god.
entertaining.
Oh man, haven't done that for a
All
while.
right,
Are
so
you
this
not
is
entertained?
our special guest interview.
Oh,
A special guest interview.
you're the
Oh
special
god.
guest.
Okay.
30
How
minutes
is
into
So
your
it.
there's been a couple huge big changes for me because of quarantine. I
good or bad?
am
Good or bad?
Some of them are debatable, some of them are bad. I wish I could say there was more good.
Mm.
I mean, there's like the neutral ones where it's like, oh, yep, that happened. Okay. And then there's the ones where it's like, yeah, Corona kind of sucks.
All right, well,
uh,
go ahead.
Exhibit A. I am a very, very just actually no, sorry. I'm only a tad bit extroverted, just an itty bitty little bit.
Wait, hold on. Did you
Um,
say tad bit introverted or extroverted? Because I'm about to call you out right here, right now. I'm sorry, Avi.
oh God,
But
no,
you, alright, folks at home.
I'm a very big extrovert.
There
I'm
we
a
go.
very big
That's what I wanted
extrovert.
to hear. You're
I
the pinnacle of extroversion.
well
Sorry.
on the right days. When I want a nap, I want a nap. Anyway,
Alright, continue.
yeah. So I'm a huge extrovert. I'm a hugger. I I like giving everyone hugs. I before quarantine was training James to like hugs because James didn't like hugs before. Um,
Damn,
I
Avi,
yeah.
calling me out on this.
Hey, I'm just saying it's a good exhibit of that I'm an extrovert. So when I thought I was going on spring break and then got cut off from the world and my friends, there's just those moments where you just kind of lose your sanity. Um, I I kind of need people to function. It's just how I work. Uh, I sometimes will just end up on a call with like a couple of people. They might be playing a game, like when I said Among Us before. They were playing, but I was doing my homework. Just being able to like hear the people helps me function properly. Because I'm an extrovert. So now here we are. School's open, and it's really not school for me because I don't know. We've always been like the very I feel like close contact is the wrong way to word it, but we like hugs. We're always like we're the kids you see that's like we will cram 5 people on a 2-person couch. we we put like what 8 people at a 4-person table during
At
lunch
least.
most of the time. Yeah.
Do we want to talk about real quickly how much school has changed? Like,
Oh my
we
God.
have a very unique perspective right now. As
Yeah.
seniors, we have gone through 3 years of high school, on our fourth one right now. And last year's seniors had a weird schedule, but it was nowhere as weird as it is for us today. And we have truly a unique experience that I don't think a lot of people in general get to claim because Me and Avi worked over the summer. You also had an internship, I thought.
No, I didn't.
Oh, my bad. Well, anyways,
No, I just worked at like Subway.
all right. So, we, me and Avi were definitely working over the summer at an undisclosed location.
The
But it was
same one.
the same
Just
one.
throwing that out there.
Yeah, and I think
Not the same as
genuinely,
me. No.
no, I think genuinely that working, like doing work is much easier for us. Like it was so much better than high school in terms of I'd rather go
Oh
back to
God.
working there than sometimes being at school because right now high school is this really weird place, and especially with our hybrid model that we have right now, like school is so out of it. Not to call any teachers out. We'll leave.
No, no.
But in
It's
Some
general,
not the teacher's
school
fault,
it's not
honestly.
the
I wouldn't
It's the
say
teachers.
it's
school
the teacher's
system.
fault. No.
No,
It's
it's school is in this really weird place right now. And I would actually like us to talk about that for a little bit because
Hmm.
we have that unique perspective. We are all right, before corona hit, which is going to be a sentence we're going to use a lot today. So we have this very
mhm.
unique connection between the three of us. Like before quarantine, which is a sentence we're going to say a lot today, we've always managed to hang out one way or another. Like during half days, we'd go down to this local restaurant, get some really good fries, and then we'll go downtown and go to this coffee shop and we'd hang out together, and then us three walk up to a building for our
Robotics.
club for robotics.
Robotics.
Yeah, because all of us are on robotics like nerds. So we would. So us three have always managed to have this very interesting ties and connections, and so now that that's kind of gone, it makes things a little weirder for us three, like in
The
general.
best part about the coffee shop, though, the card games.
The card games were always
Oh,
hilarious. This is
I
why I
Yes,
want to
remember.
own
yes.
my own
Yeah,
shop.
I remember we brought some
I
of like we brought some of the other people there too, and we had so much fun.
Well, I'd just like to point out that a undisclosed senior from not last year, 2 years ago, sophomore in college right now,
Oh,
went there with one of our friends. They discovered it and they dragged me there, and then I dragged these two idiots there, and then
Yep,
we dragged
it just
more people there. That's what it is. It's the
yeah, it's
cult
just
of coffee.
the coffee cult.
listen.
Best
It
part was
was
I didn't
just
even
such a
drink the.
great atmosphere.
Best part
Oh,
was I didn't even drink
I have
the
so many
coffee.
good titles for this episode. I can't choose now.
Dentistry and coffees.
No, no, the Dexter Dilemma, coffee cult.
uh, all right. Anyways, so and I would like us to start talking about, without specifying names or such, what has it been like for everyone in school compared to where we started? All right, let's talk about going right before we talk about anything else. Let's start about right leading up to school, and then now what's school like? What did we
Before
expect?
before we do any of that, I'd like
So
to
what
request
I
a moment.
did,
One
Stop
sec, one
saying
sec.
before we talk about any of that. I said that like 4 times in the last
Okay.
sentence. All right, I'm sorry. Continue, please.
One sec, I just want to say something. Before we actually get into it, can we hold a moment of silence for our teacher that passed over
Oh
quarantine?
yeah, this was
yeah.
a teacher that was very dear to our hearts. I personally did not know him very well, but he was a very good teacher. Anytime I interacted with him, he was truly an amazing man. And unfortunately, over the summer, he had passed away, and he will forever be remembered at
Bring
our school. And he was truly a great man.
I
Thank you. All right, what was school like
Oh,
for
just to
us?
clarify, it
Oh,
was not due to COVID. It was due to a very aggressive cancer.
yeah. But he was very close to a good chunk of our students, and we just like to recognize him as such a great
Yeah.
teacher. Now let's talk about the absolute storm that was building up to school.
Oh God.
Remember learning. Let's talk about what did we expect going into school, and then what we're now presented with. Can we start with Avi real quick about What was it like building up to school? Because me and you had a very similar experience, and I just want to hear your side of it.
I mean, sure. Like I said, spring break got extended like 5 months. Um, Something like that. I lost count. We got to be in the 200 days by now. Anyway, I struggled a lot with online school. Oh, sorry, got a knock on my door. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I struggled a lot with online school. I briefly mentioned before that I am top of our class, and I'm a little Miss Perfect student. Yeah, yep, I'll just admit to that straight out. These two can attest to it. Um, and online school, it was like one of the first times where I just saw my grades kind of like flip, and I acknowledged the fact that, wow, I'm bad at this when I'm usually really good at school. Like, people all have their like passions and things that they're good at, like sports, and I'm over here like, yeah, I can act and do school. Um, but I could not do online school. And I told my parents when school ended in the spring, I'm going back in person in the fall. It's non-negotiable because I didn't want my grades to suffer the way they did. Thank God for pass or fail. Because I mean, yes, I did still bring my grades up to semi decent. I mean, you probably hear a lot of other people not complain about the grades that I got, but like I said, everyone was perfect over here, and I didn't want that for my senior year. And then, summer, I got the really good news that an undisclosed company actually was the only company offering internships at our school that kept their internships despite COVID. And they sent us the means to perform work virtually. And I had so much fun there. And I actually found myself doing work much better than I was with schoolwork. I don't know why. There was a disconnect there because, in a way, you could call them the same thing. But I don't know. Something about the work environment in the corporate world online was way better to me than school. I was. I kind of started doing my obsessing thing with it, like, working 10 hours a day for no particular reason, or until my parents came in my room and said, you need to get some fresh air, go outside.
Or I yelled at you to get off of the laptop.
Yeah. James always got out earlier than me. Because James would get out at like, what, 3, and I'd be still on
No.
at like 6.
I would wake up really early. That's why. I would wake up at like, by the time 7 o'clock hit, I was already on my laptop ready to go.
But I got on at 8:30. That's not that big of a difference. That's an
You
hour
would
and a
also
half. This
work
is a
really late
two
though.
hour, 3 hour jump,
I would,
right?
I would, I still say my model was slightly better. But anyways,
Whatever
yeah,
you say. I got paid for overtime.
technically illegal, and we shouldn't be admitting that on record.
No, it wasn't illegal because I missed
We'll cut
the
out this
5 days
We'll
of
just
work.
we'll cut out that part real
No,
quick.
no, it's not illegal. She missed
Uh,
work day. She's making them up. That's it.
Maybe I just
Right, I
don't know the
missed
law.
work days, so I got paid the overtime because I was making them up.
Alright, I didn't want
Anyway,
it to sound like, we're purposely working overtime to steal money. Because that's not what we do.
I'm not.
Alright,
Absolutely not. No.
No. See, the
alright.
only thing.
Anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
So the only thing I want to bring up about that is that Avi is always the one that's telling us to like self care and take care of us before we take care of anyone
That
else.
is so true.
Well, I think we might have to start getting on Avi for self care a lot more than we already do.
Well, I'll be honest. I kind of forced, not even forced. I tried doing that part during the summer, and it was honestly a losing cause. But Avi, would you
I
say
am
now that
stubborn.
school is better, that hold on, you know what? I'll ask that question when we get to the actual school part. But Barat, what was your summer like?
My summer was it was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag. Of course, there were some good things that happened. At first, I was like really excited that we only had to we didn't have school anymore, but we still had to do online school. I don't know. I was really happy when that happened, but then after like 2 months of it, I got really bored of just being forced to stay inside, and I ran out of things to do. Like my ADHD wouldn't let me sit down. It would just completely force me to do something in the moment. But I didn't have enough things in my home to do, and I didn't have enough things to distract me from the reality, I guess.
That's why Animal Crossing is great.
I don't have a Switch.
I
I
don't have a
can't.
Switch.
Yeah, I played Animal Crossing. It's a good outlet for my non-existent OCD. Um,
What? Non-existent?
non-existent. It doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, it was great.
For like
My
for video.
brother started the island. If you know how Animal Crossing works, my brother started the island, so he was like the host of the island. But we share our Switch, so I hopped on Animal Crossing and pretty much took over the island. Like he was there at the beginning, and then it was just all me. It was like I was the one logging on. I had way more things than he did. I collected. I was in further debt than him because that's totally the goal of the game. Uh, but yeah, I Animal Crossing was great for me. It was like many people say over and over again. It was a good old escape from reality into a better
Yeah.
virtual one.
For me, over the summer, I ran out of games to play. Like over the summer, I fully completed Spider-Man, fully completed God of War. I did all that I could, and like most of the games that I played, I just ran out of stuff to do.
You didn't have any open world games?
Nope, ran out.
How do
Spider-Man
you
is an
run
open
out
world
of
game.
open world? Wait.
You
Spider
just get
After
through
you
it
do all the
all.
stuff in there,
Yeah.
there's nothing else to do.
There are games where it literally just like, alright, I've done everything. I gotta end it. Yeah,
Like
that's
I played,
honestly, that was a feeling.
yeah. Like there's shows. I mean, sure, but like there's only enough of a show you can watch before you get bored with the characters and cast.
Um, hold up. You know how much TV I watched? I will strongly disagree with you there. If
Oh
it's a good
God,
All right,
here
show,
we go.
all
if
right.
it is
I'll
a
be
good
completely
show,
fair. I watched my fair like share of anime at the beginning of what is it? At the beginning of quarantine, I started with episode one of if any of you watch anime, well, One Piece. I started episode one of One Piece, which has like a total of 900 something episodes right now. And by the end of like quarantine, I made it to around 700 or so by skipping like all of the filler and stuff.
I'm
But
kind of
at that
terrified.
point, just finish the show. I mean, literally, just get it done and over with. Just push through it just to see how it ends out.
oh no,
I
the
know it's
show
not
still
done
isn't
yet.
over. By the way,
Oh,
it's
I
still
know.
not over.
Oh, I'm very much aware. I just push to get to wherever the recent episode is. Just like,
Oh
power
yeah,
through it all.
that's what I'm doing right now. I'm in the middle of it, so I'm just
Man,
pushing through.
I was gonna try to do that with Critical Role.
Yeah, our friend binged through the entirety of campaign 2 during quarantine. Like, literally caught
No,
up
no, no,
the other day.
no. That was unhealthy. All right,
It
April.
was.
I'm getting texts from him saying, "Yo, I've watched like 5 episodes today," and I'm like, "I'm sorry. Did you sleep?" Um,
That's what my dad and I did to get through campaign 1. Right before campaign 2 started, we just, like, would watch about. We'd start about 8 a.m. and won't, like, stop watching until, like, 2 in the morning and then rinse and repeat. Because that.
that's terrifying.
It was. But at
That's
the same time, Christmas break really let us do that. Like, we just powered through it all. We ended
I'm
about 3 weeks
terrified.
before campaign 2 started.
Jeez.
That
But
was like
yeah, now
115
the
episodes of hell.
undisclosed friend is entirely caught up, and for
Starts
some
campaign
odd
1.
reason, he finished on Tuesday of a week. And for those who don't know, Critical Role airs on a Thursday. Thursday comes around, and he's like, I don't really feel like watching a live episode. Like, I'm sorry, sir, you just watched like 110 something
That's
episodes
because it's
that
like
were
10
4 hours
o'clock where we
long
are.
to
It
not
starts
watch
at
it
10.
live.
Hold on, though. We have school the very next day. That's like 10 a.m. time here to 1 a.m. Like, that is so much
PM.
work. Anyways, so
So now that we've covered the
now that we've
stuff
talked
leading up to
about
school,
leading up to school,
I do have an interesting quarantine tidbit, and I don't think either of you actually know this.
well,
alright. This episode will go a little long, but we're going to be okay with that. What is going on,
Oh
Abby?
no!
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I
Don't
can
worry
hold
about the
off.
runtime.
no, I
Remember,
actually like
Unless
it
you're
being
not
longer.
gonna invite me back. Unless you're
no,
not gonna invite me
hold on,
back. Like,
Abby.
that's cool.
Abby, we
No,
had you
I
on here
genuinely like
because
it
of
being
it.
longer though,
Yeah. We're
because
having a
these are
really
like
interesting
these are
conversation.
a lot of these are universal experiences.
Yeah.
Well,
So
a lot of people have these.
don't
So go
stress
ahead.
about time. Let's just talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I can make it as short and sweet as possible.
No.
But,
No, it's fine. Just get
Just
going.
talk.
so both of you know that.
Oh, she went on mute. Well, now that we didn't answer what I did over the summer.
Oh yeah, you still got to do that.
Yeah, hold on. I'll speak to that real quickly. I didn't want to sound like an egomaniac, but I was like, you know what? Maybe I got something interesting to share because I like rambling a lot. I want to talk about
That's
really
fine.
quickly what school is like right when March 13th hit, because I have a picture on my phone of how, like, March 13th comes. This is the last day of school. This is the day we find out about what is going to go on in the next couple weeks, and they at this point had not told us anything. Like, I remember the day before making a prediction when we would shut down, and these guys just did not tell us anything ahead of time, and it just literally on the day it hits us. On March 13th, we're told that we're going to quarantine for just 2 weeks. You can leave stuff in your lockers because we're going to come back for it later, and you just need to have a laptop. We're going to move completely virtual for 2 weeks. Actually, no, hold on. They didn't even say virtual at that point. They're like, here's your packets due in 2 weeks, and it's like these very thick math and English packets that we had to complete and we had to fill out. Spoiler alert, I did not touch them for 2 weeks. So I remember this day, and it was like, it hit us hard. Like, all of us just like sledgehammer hard on us, and we moved to virtual after 2 weeks of no school whatsoever. We're completely virtual now, and no teacher.
James, I have a question.
Mhm.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's
I
fine.
have a question.
Yeah.
What was your prediction for like when we were gonna come back?
I remember the day before we shut down, I remember predicting that we were going to close within the next 2 weeks. And that was my bet.
My prediction was like even if we come back next year, it's not gonna be as the same.
No, I thought that once we went virtual, there was no way that we were ever going to come back to it. I see Avi typing in the
Yeah.
chat. I feel like Avi's going to leave soon. But,
So I was talking to the counselor.
okay. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Barat.
I was talking to the counselor that we have, and she said that like if we don't come back in 2 weeks, we're probably not going to come back until next year.
Yeah, I remember our vice principal came in for a call because me and Avi, I don't think you were in this class, but for our geometry class,
Yeah, that was geometry.
our vice principal or dean of students, I don't remember what her official title is, but I'm 90% sure.
She is our.
I'm 90% sure it's
assistant
vice
principal.
assistant principal.
Yeah.
Assistant.
Yeah. So if she hears this, she's gonna be mad at me. I remember her coming on the call and she's like, "Oh, maybe we'll come back, for like the last month, just to like get SATs done, get your finals done." And then I'm at home going, "We're not gonna do any of that. Like, it's so obvious that we're not going to come back whatsoever." I knew at that point all hope was lost. Some teachers just straight up didn't know what Google Classroom was or how to use it properly. And during this time, I started up Iron Gods for Pathfinder 2 with a couple friends. And I just remember every Wednesday not having school. Uh, but anyways, just remember, like, even throughout the summer, because my dad's a teacher, I kind of, in quotes, have an inside scoop. In quotes. This is very, very loose terms, because my dad's system is very, very different. But I somewhat could understand where we were going, and it was so painfully obvious that coming into this year, this was going to be 100%. If students want to come in, they're going to come in, but there's going to be a virtual at home. And just remember this leading build up to this very first day of school, just going, well, here's the regulations that keep changing every day, and now this is what we have. And I don't know if we want to move into that segment now, but I just remember just that sense of, like, I can see the writing in the sand as we move closer to it. And it was painfully obvious that once that 2 week period hit and we were finished that 2 weeks, it was so obvious we're staying home. Like, there was nothing we could do about it.
So for me, coming back to school, I had two feelings. I was both excited that I got to like see you guys again, mostly excited that I got to see you guys again, and then I was also dreading coming back because it like we couldn't do anything. We can't, be within 6 feet of each other. Which all of these rules are reasonable. That's why that's why you're supposed to follow them. They're reasonable, sure. It's just like I was dreading. It's just that dread built up throughout a whole like summer's worth of not being able to like meet anybody or talk to anybody. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I could not stand the thought of not being able to come back to school because honestly, I was kind of scared that we'd have to do completely online all year this year. I know we're probably going to end up back online this year.
Probably within
I
the next
am
week.
not prepared for that mental breakdown, but that's future Avi's problem.
I think October 19th is when they're going to
Probably
call it. Like, they're calling whether or not.
19th. You're calling it that early? Or that late?
I thought I heard something going
No,
around that
some
they were
people
going to
say
announce.
it's going to be next Tuesday.
Yeah, they're going to
Yeah, some
announce it
people
within
say
this
that
next.
Wednesday's going to be our last day.
Yeah, within the next week will be our last, like, in-person learning day, because our state right now has done an amazing job at containing the virus. But unfortunately, school is a super spreader place. Thankfully, our school is very low in numbers, so we're probably not as affected as probably some of our other schools.
Yeah, I
But
mean, we also have that big open building. We have a completely brand new building that was built just 6 years ago, which, I mean, considering most school buildings can be like up to 20 years old, it's got like, huge open collab spaces. The hallways are big, and we're not a very big population. So just,
Like stuff like that doesn't go around as bad as like some other high schools, like the high school in Manchester or Hartford. Like those places can get really crowded.
yeah, but I remember. So coming into
And
school,
I think
yeah.
our school has been dealing with it like very well,
I
regardless of
I
like
think it's
how
relatively
but
well.
like
I mean, our school
aside
could
from
definitely do some small things like open up another stairwell.
yeah,
But we've been really good about mask breaks and done properly. And honestly, I think mask break is probably one of my favorite times of day, because just
it's
having that
recess.
10 minutes, just like
yeah,
literally
it's just
that
10
10
minutes of
minutes
recess per
of
class.
rest. Because it's just like school right now is so daunting, as we're just constantly being assigned work, and it's literally a lot of busy work. Honestly, I'm not going to call out any of my teachers, but a lot of it is sort of busy work because some people have this mentality of, oh, you're at home, oh great, that means you have all the time in the world, not, oh, you have other things like family and chores and other stuff that you need to do now that you're home. And
Ooh.
um, coming into school this year, that literal mask break, just that 10 minutes of just time is so relieving. Depending on what teacher you're with, like that mask break might be slightly longer. I won't say who because I like when they go slightly long. But the just it's that nice little refresher that I've been saying since freshman year that we should have always had. It's just like literally just like 10 minutes out of your time to just relax, and then you can get right back into the material. Like it's like for me, it's just this perfect little balance.
I love mask break, but like when it's on the fourth floor, I absolutely hate it because
Going
You need a
down and
mask break
up.
from the mask break.
yeah, exactly. I feel like I need a second mask break after I climb up like 8 flights of stairs.
Remember, we used to have it so where lunch was going up and down those stairs, and what would be worse is coming from gym to go all the way up to English.
Oh my god, you feel
No.
like you run a second marathon or something.
You have to like rush getting changed. I remember freshman year, we all had gym freshman except for Avi because she's
I
special.
Yeah,
didn't. I
I
You're
didn't.
did.
you're suffering for that now. But we all
I
had
know
to.
though.
I remember several of us. We would have fourth block gym, fifth block
English.
English, and I remember having that fourth block just as soon as like we had to get dressed and up those stairs within 5 minutes, or the teacher was gonna mark us absent. And I remember at one point I like jumped into the room just so I can get there on time. As like I'm literally, it's like a scene from like almost Ferris Bueller. As I'm running into the room, like I'm gripping my pants, pulling them up as I leap into the room. And it was just like I want a slow mo shot of my life right there, as like the
Oh,
bell is just like
that was the okay. So
boom.
being late to class because of changing was the one reason I never changed.
It
I
was so
I
much.
never changed in that class. I just wore my uniform, sprayed some deodorant, got a separate uniform shirt so it didn't smell like trash.
Yeah, it was
That's
really
it.
bad.
Just switched shirts, took me like 2 seconds, and then I was out of there.
Avi, hold on. You have gym right now, actually. What is it like
I
to have
do.
a gym class now? What is it like in
Sure.
that
Especially
environment?
during
All right.
quarantine. How is that
All right.
like?
All right. So here we go. This is a little bit of a story. So
Story time.
I am suffering, quote unquote, in senior year because in freshman year I decided I don't want to take a gym class. Yoga's great because we offer our school offers alternatives for gym, and so you can take strength and conditioning, which is like weightlifting and treadmills and like a gym workout that your parents would do. And then you can take yoga, which is yoga. I think you know what yoga is. Or you can take normal phys ed. And I took yoga as the full year class in freshman year, but it was shorter, so it only counted as a half credit. And I was like, I really like yoga. I'd rather just do yoga again another year instead of take physical education freshman year. So I switched out of physical education for my second semester and into sound production instead, which I don't entirely regret. It was a pretty easy class I went on. So now I have to take gym senior year because I overloaded myself with classes and doubling up and high level stuff. So I couldn't take gym sophomore year. I was like, okay, I'll take it junior year. Junior year, I couldn't take it. So now here we are, senior year. I need one single gym class in order to graduate. So I actually couldn't fit yoga in my schedule. So I have to take strength and conditioning this year. But I'm so glad that I'm taking it this year because of COVID. Because we can't do what you would normally do in a PE class because of COVID and the hybrid system. So I'm doing, normal physical education increments and things, but it's less serious because one, the teacher understands majority of students, including myself, did not exercise during quarantine. We all just sat in our rooms, casually at a computer, not doing anything. So he's kind of going easy on us, like you don't have to go full out on the exercises. And two, you know how you guys are late for changing? We don't have to change. We just have to show up in sneakers. But if you want to like wear a t-shirt or something underneath your uniform and like, just take your uniform shirt off and then put your uniform shirt back on, you're totally allowed to do that. But we don't have to change for a grade like you would normally. Um, so yeah, that's pretty sweet. And
Like,
the teacher's very
normally,
understanding.
normally changing was like literally 1 point out of like 10. So even if you didn't change, you still got like a 90. So it wasn't
Not
that
in
bad.
not in one of the gym teachers. I almost said their name. In one of the gym teachers class, it was pretty much it was changing was 50% and actually participating was 50%.
Oh,
So
jeez.
yeah. Oh, that's right. You weren't in that yoga class.
Yeah, no, I wasn't in yoga. No,
Sad.
I
You
never, I
get to
never
hear
took
my
yoga. I took,
my knees.
I took.
My knees.
Uh, I remember taking gym. I think either sophomore and junior year, or freshman and sophomore year.
Honestly, I got done with all my PE credits in freshman year by having eighth block yoga and fourth block gym. So I have not taken a single phys ed class
That's it.
since. I played high school like you do Game of Thrones, and technically this year I could drop over, I want to say 75% of my schedule and still pass with all my credits needed. Like, unfortunately, though, they will not allow you to have 5 free blocks, so I filled that up with other classes.
Imagine the senior privilege of how early you can just go home.
Honestly, one of our friends
Man,
has an eighth block off. I'm like, you want to slide that to me instead of taking the class I have now?
I'm gonna have first block off because my gym class is only a half credit next semester, so I can come in late if I want to.
I have I have a
You
class.
already come in
I
late,
have
so
second block.
You know what?
Hold on, I'm gonna check my schedule. I think my first block is a full year. 99% sure. I think I have all full years this year.
What do you have first?
Psychology.
Oh yeah, that's a half
99% sure
year.
that's full.
No, it's a full year.
No, it's a half.
Nope, it's full.
Full.
Ooh,
It
All right, back to what
is.
we were talking about.
right,
Experiences during
yeah.
school.
Phys ed is easy, but
Cool.
experiences during quarantine. Oh man.
No, no, not
I mean,
quarantine. Just like during pandemic school. That's
oh,
what we'll call it.
pandemic school. Well, you see, I'm the stickler in our friend group. You both can attest to this because I've done it to you. Um, a lot of our friends, because it's been so long, kind of just start disregarding the, you know, stay away from each other rule.
I will admit that with select, very, very select individuals, I will sometimes break it for like 2, 3 seconds.
I
We are worse than we should be. Yes.
I won't
Yes.
claim that we're
I
perfect.
security doesn't enforce it, so it's not entirely on you. Like it's not like they're training us to be aware of that. Like it's not like, oh, you go up to someone because, for a moment you forget about social distancing and all of that. And they're like, no, you need to separate. No, they'll kind of like give it a side glance, but they
Let's
don't
not
actually say anything.
let's not talk about our security because
No, you don't want me to go off about our security.
I've heard your
Anyway,
tangent about our security.
anyway, but I'm one of the sticklers about it because I have 3 people in my household who, if they get the virus, they are at very high risk for death. No, I'm not saying I haven't had those like lapses where you forget, Like it's just so natural. Like I said, we're terrible
You've hit me
wording, but
with.
we're
You've
close
almost hit me
contact
with a
friends.
textbook to make sure I stayed away from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost got a calculus book at my face because I was like, all right, I was like at least a solid 3 feet away, and with my mask
No.
partially on, and she almost freaked out.
No. That's not true.
I know it was probably a little closer than
No.
I just wanted to sound like a
It
better
was
person.
you just wanted to sound like a good person.
No, I was
Yeah,
definitely within the realm on that.
I have those 3 words that I just say, and
Stay
then I've
away.
said it to both of you. Yeah, that's what I say. Wait, it's not 3 words.
No. What your
It's
typical
six. It's
phrase
6 words.
is
It's six. It's
has a
6 words.
phrase in there that we cannot use on this podcast.
Oh yeah, I know.
Until we get
But
legal rights to swear, that phrasing will stay away.
get the heck away from me. Anyway.
Yeah,
I
very
just
much
say
that.
and it's kind of like, oh, backing up.
Because
And
you forget.
I appreciate your respect for it.
We're okay, hold on. Before we make us sound like we're very terrible people about this. Typically, we are very good about keeping space, and our school has done an amazing job on making sure that we are very distant. Not all the time, because like we said, occasionally we forget because we're not perfect. But we have been typically really good about maintaining distance, especially during lunch. Like that is such a vulnerable time to be in, and we have been really good about keeping, space and stuff. I won't say all of
Yeah.
us. I definitely know there's a lot of freshmen, and I definitely know there's some people that we personally know, and if they listen to this, you know who you are, who will break that. So, but you know what? We don't have to worry about that very soon. I'm gonna close.
Juniors will always sit together for no reason whatsoever.
Oh my
Nobody
god.
nobody
The
should
crowd of
anything.
Oh, wait,
seniors,
hold on,
too.
hold on. I want to tell a really, really, really quick story about literally Tuesday. Barat,
Oh yeah, I
myself,
remember this.
and one of our friends, we had run out of chairs in the cafeteria because some other people decided to break quarantine rules and had taken chairs to sit in a table, about 5 people sitting next to each other with no masks on. We, on the other hand, were almost pretty distant. Like we were like relatively distant, right? We're all just eating lunch, right? We grab chairs, like, because there's nowhere else that we can really sit because chairs are gone, and it's just so much easier to just we'll pull up a chair, like that kind of mentality. And Barat was sitting next to us, and it's just like it was just the three of us. This security guard walks past a group of 4 people with no masks on in a much closer radius, walks to our table, yells at us that 3 people is too many, fails to notice the 6 people behind us with no masks on, and then tells Barat that he needs to scoot back another foot. And
No, not scoot
And
back.
let's-
he said,
And
He said
"Get."
you
I
need
mean,
to you need to
we can
move to a
talk.
different table.
Yeah, we need to talk about the musical chairs that we played.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, that
Getting a
was funny.
seat where we
Like,
can talk with each other is by far now the biggest challenge.
oh, not that. That's just a common thing for me now. But I'm talking about okay. So
Oh, I think
the
I know what
first
you're
day we
talking
were in
about.
person last week, I had because I decided to get rid of that. I had third block off, so I could go to any lunchway if I wanted.
Oh, I know
And
what
I
you're
came
talking
down
about.
for one of the lunchways, and
We're gonna sound so
there was
terrible in this. Hold on, I want to put a PSA real quick. We're about to sound like we do not care about socially distanced germs or anything whatsoever. I want to throw that little PSA right in front of Avi finishes
we're
the
not.
story to make us sound terrible. But continue, Avi. I know exactly the incident you're referring to with musical chairs. So continue,
No,
please,
no,
because this is
no,
a
no,
very
no,
funny
no,
story.
no. Okay. Third block, I come downstairs, all the tables are taken, and there's just this one lone chair sitting like off to the side away from the tables because probably some juniors, if you can't tell, we don't like the junior class. Sorry to any of the, honorary seniors who are listening.
You know who you
Um,
are.
Yeah, you know who you are. Um, there was just this chair off to the side that was probably discarded after broken rules. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I sat at the chair. I didn't have a table. I used my calculus textbook to hold up my lunchbox. That was my table for the lunch wave, and I ate off of my calculus textbook. Then the next day, I come down for lunch. You know, we all have the same class during seventh block. We're all coming down. I'm a little late because I always, you know, forget to start packing my bag, so I end up packing it once the bell rings. So I'm like slow to get down. And I get there, pretty much all of the like tables are taken except this one, which is actually one of the ones that I usually sit at. I get there and there's no chair. And I'm like, wow, this is just the reverse of what I had yesterday. So I'm standing there starting to eat my lunch, and I'm, looking slightly over my shoulder at the two juniors behind me who I can just feel staring at me like, oh, is she going to be a person? Is she going to be
Nice
a
catch.
annoying person and say something to us? I could just see it out of the corner of my eye, but I didn't. And they're both, sitting there, not entirely distant, but there was at least some space between them, masks off, talking to each other. And I didn't. I stood there and I started eating my apples and, just like munching on my snacks, not eating my full lunch yet. And James over here took pity on me and went and got a chair from one of the like tables up in the front that no one sits at. And then
I sat in that
Barat
chair.
took that. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Barat took that chair. I was
But
kind
then
of
but then
considering
I took pity on you again, and then I got another chair for you.
Yeah.
I swear to God, guys,
And
we went through like 6 different chairs just to make sure that we could sit properly.
yeah, and poor Barat got booted without a table.
Wait,
I
Oh
do
hold
yeah,
love
on.
you, Barat,
Barat
but
sat
like
they
with
were.
I'm
us.
sorry I couldn't share my table with you.
No, it's fine. I understand. They were just out of tables with like.
No,
Uh
no, no,
huh.
no, no. I respect
Turn
the
off the
the
Xbox, please.
underclassmen. Well, some of them. I don't think like freshman Fridays or anything like that is something I would ever want to participate or see my friends participate in.
Wait, is that
Um,
your way of implying that we shouldn't do it?
Yes, we don't,
All
because
right,
it's just
bro,
a
come
joke.
here.
That's what it is.
All right, come on. Wait, it's not Friday. It's Saturday. No. Go upstairs. All right.
that
I
was
love how we.
wonderful timing.
Exactly.
I will be back next
Anyway,
week.
yeah, no, don't participate in that. That's silly. It shouldn't exist. Everyone's a person. Anyway, but I don't like. Maybe it's because I'm a nerd. I don't like the people who think that school is just a social construct for them and they don't care about classes. It's just all about looks and popularity and things. Maybe it's because I'm a nerd. But those kind of people, like, tick me. Like, really push my buttons. And that's what most of the junior class is. And that's why we kind of, like, don't like the juniors. Because a lot of the people in our friend group have that same sort of opinion. Anyway, so there are those few juniors that we absolutely love, All my love goes out to them. A lot of them are on the robotics team, so I mean,
Almost
you can't.
all of them are on the robotics team.
Almost all of them are on the robotics team. They're the best because we just don't associate them with the junior class. We associate them with us as friends. So I'm not saying the entire junior class is terrible. I'm just saying there's a vast majority that kind of ruin it for us.
So let's move on.
Yes.
Yeah. So now that
So
we're going into,
yeah,
oh, sorry.
James, your experience with pandemic school.
Oh shoot! I completely forgot that I was not talking about my experience. Okay. Um. Yeah. Shoot! I completely forgot that I hadn't shared yet. So I think with growing up with the education system very much being in place, with my dad being a teacher, I kind of know the ins and outs of how school works a little bit. Now, I won't say a professional because I don't work, but we have very transparent and honest teachers, which is awesome. But the way school in general is being held, I've always been very much against going back to school because I knew exactly what like I said, I saw the writing in the sand. Everyone saw the writing. It was doomed from the start with COVID numbers, and it was bound to go up eventually. There was no way you could possibly avoid it. I personally hate virtual learning. It is not for me. I do not do well in it. Um, I'm personally kind of dreading what college is going to look like next year if I so choose to go to school in college, whether it's going to be community or regular or just take a gap year until COVID gets figured out. But I want to speak to my experience of this year's just been a lot of busy work and it's a lot of essays. And I guarantee you, I can name two of my classes that I have as the most busy work classes because that's all they are. It's literally just one work after another, after another, after another. And, honestly, it's become exhausting to the point where I have not played a single game of D&D in like almost a month. And that's like really long for me. So I currently have like a bunch of work piled up of stuff I want to do or want to work on, like, making my own gunslinger or, you know what, that's a separate tangent. Um, but I can't because just school has become exhausting. For me, generally, life in of itself. I'm not saying life is exhausting. I'm not saying like, you know, um, yeah, I know I have my own problems I deal with, but the just speaking to the realism of the situation, school has just become draining. Like everything constantly right now is school. I can guarantee you, right after this call is done, I have homework I gotta go do. I'm sure Avi has homework she's gonna do tomorrow. I'm sure Barat has homework that he needs to do, but just it's
No need to call me out like that.
all of us have
Yeah,
homework,
please,
but no, no,
please
no,
don't
hold
do
on.
that.
No, no, but that speaks to my point that all of us have just, it's so much work right now, and it's honestly exhausting. And this is why I'm so afraid of going back to full virtual. It's because of the fact that I can tell you right now, our workload's gonna triple. And we were speaking with our friend who's completely pure uh, who they, because pronouns, are completely virtual, and they were telling us about what it's like because I don't know, I just genuinely wanted to know about what they were thinking, how it was working, and they were like it's better than going to a hybrid model because they brought up a good point of we have no system to get used to because Monday and Tuesday we go in like that's already messing up, and that's 5:30 in the morning wake up to call for me to go into school, and then we have 3 days of waking up later. So our body really doesn't have much to adjust to, especially with the weekends, especially with the amount of homework we have to do. I know teachers aren't technically calling it homework because everything we do now is at home, but yeah, it's a lot of work to do. And for me, it's very been draining. I hate distance learning. I hate the model that we have. I also know for the safety and protection of everyone, I would rather be at home and make sure everyone's okay and safe because it's so much better than going to school and just being at risk constantly. And like if anything I want to just leave who's ever listening to us at this point is that just for me school has just become this over exhausting thing. And I have personal things I want to achieve. Like I have goals that I know I have set, and it honestly has become really hard to meet those goals. I technically have 3 campaigns I'm playing in, 4 if you count one my friend's trying to start up. I can't play in any of them right now. Uh, any work that I do get done is out of like the very minimalist of my spare time. Like I'm training to become a pro racquetball player, and like I was talking with my soon to be coach. I hope she becomes my coach if she's listening to this. Um, just talking, and it's just like it's so hard to get that training in. It's so hard to get homework done, and it's just school has become the new normal for us now. That's why I'd much rather go back and go to the workforce. Because at least when I was working with this other company, I had times where like you're not having to mandatorily show up to class. You don't have like the only thing you had to show up to was meetings, but you could take that 10 minutes out of your life and just go for a walk, or because that's what people encourage. And it didn't seem so overbearing. Yes, there was a lot of work to do, and my team and I worked very hard, and we got to first place actually for the competition because of the amount of just like not extra hours, just the amount of like work that we just put into our project. And that was so much more relieving than it is in school right now. And I at least got paid for doing that. Like, this is honestly anything you take away from this point for me, or at least how I'm feeling about school, is that it's become life. You cannot go a single day without having to think of something that is due or having to work on something that will be due. And honestly, I can guarantee you right now, my international studies thing is due probably Tuesday, and I'm probably gonna have to work on it tomorrow. Like, okay, that's my little tidbit rant thing. Oh boy, that was a lot of words. Why did no one cut me off?
Because it's accurate.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said.
Yeah, no, just school it's the new normal now. And I'm really worried. I don't know how you guys feel about this. And you know what? That's maybe some great closing thoughts as we're about to hit an hour and a half mark, or maybe it
Yeah.
might be different after we completely edit it. But for us, recording, it's about an hour and a half. Maybe that's some great closing thoughts to harp back onto.
Right, let's go
Is
to closing statements. First, we have Avi. Go ahead.
Oh God, why do you put the guest on the spot first?
because
Okay.
you're our guest, and you know what? We want to give you special treatment.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I don't know. Quarantine has changed all of us in some way, and we all have our own opinions on what it's doing to our lives. And I am sure we all really wish we could just go back to the way it was before, but sadly we can't, and we just kind of have to adjust and adapt to this not so awesome new normal. And I mean, I myself adjusted and adapted a lot during quarantine because extrovertedness now kind of sucks. But I guess my final closing statement is actually kind of goes back to our evolution thing. I think of evolution less of survival of the fittest and more of just adaptability. So be that person that can adapt. I know it's hard and I know it sucks because, I mean, we've talked about it for an hour. We all had to adjust and none of us liked it. We want to go back to the way it was. But that ability to adapt is so important in the world today. And honestly, that's one of the things with our generation. Employers and colleges and pretty much anything in your future, they're going to look to see how did you react to this sort of thing happening all of a sudden to you in your life? Did you adapt? Did you work with it? Did you, you know, and the people who actually did adapt and tried to make the best of it, those are going to be people they want. So adaptability is just really the most important thing right now.
All right. Thank you, Avi, for joining us today. James, with your closing remarks.
Um, all right. You know what? I ended my speech in a little bit of a dark note, so I want to follow in Avi's footsteps, and I want to bring in a little light into everyone's day as we close this out from my end. Times are really tough right now. A lot of our relationships are being tested constantly, and we make best with what we got. And right now, it might not seem we got a lot, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and we will manage to overcome, and we'll do our best. And if we just keep working at it and just enjoy the small moments right now as you can, as school becomes daunting. Honestly, right now, this like hour and a half conversation, it was longer because it was just me and Avi beforehand, is like enjoying just this little moment we have. And honestly, this is why I'm so grateful for the podcast to come through, because this is just so much, like, it's the one little bit of relief. And if you can find that little bit of relief, then I say encourage for it. Still try pursuing your goals. If you're going to go to college soon, you make sure that you just, learn to relax a little bit, and just, school is going to be daunting. Life is going to be daunting, but it's your perseverance that's going to get you through. And I hope that everyone gets through it.
Wow, both of you with very nice closing remarks. And now for me, I would say since quarantine has broken a lot of our coping mechanisms and our structures and our systems that we've had for dealing with things, it's important to always build up those systems, rebuild them. It's always important to get that back so we can, deal with ourselves, deal with the stuff that we have. It's always important to deal with those things. Of course, my system hasn't really changed. It's just been humor. So I think I'm set. But of course, if anybody, needs someone to talk to, I'm here.
Yeah, we're going to be as very open as we can on this podcast. And, we learn a little something every time we record. And if anyone's struggling out there, we're not professionals, but we will listen. Brat, can you close?
I also advise that that you contact professional help if needed, of course.
Yeah, I seriously cannot stress this enough. Like, speaking from my personal experiences, seeking the professional help, as scary as it may sound, as terrifying that may sound, even if you're going through something a little smaller, or what you consider smaller, like, seriously reaching out to someone is probably the best thing you can do. Especially, I know everyone keeps saying it, especially during this time, it might sound fake, but we've all had our very unique experiences and our own trials and tribulations. If you seriously can, I suggest you reaching out to someone, either professional or just a close friend, and getting the help you need, because honestly, this is daunting for a lot of us. A lot of us are tired and just want to stop. But, if you can get that help that you need, I say go for it.
I want this to actually end up in the episode. Thank you guys so much for having me here. I had a lot of fun chatting with you.
We had a lot of
fun.
Please
invite
with you,
me back.
You know what, Avi? We will definitely make sure you're a recurring guest. You were a lot of fun. This has been a great episode 1, guys. Like, we've hit everything that we wanted to, like, have as a feel and a vibe going on. This is very much what we're like when we're just 3 of us in person. Like, this is what we talk about. And yeah,
we're gonna say, this totally emerged as like another form of us being able to have these conversations, because we don't have the time in school.
Yeah,
I just want to remind both of you that I have prepared absolutely nothing for this episode. It just goes to show you some of the best things come when you're unprepared.
That is true. I can speak to that as a GM. Definitely. I never prepare anything.
Right, because that's so good.
I want to improvise an outro, and this is how we'll end the episode.
But this has been Professional Idiocy, and we'll see you next week.
Damn it, Brat, you took it.
Remember,
all right.
Dentists are fun.
Yes, go to your dentist.
All right. This episode of Professional Idiocy was recorded on October 10th, 2020.